morning everyone, Matt, Nomadic Native back with you. Thanks for tuning in. In this video I'm talking about the SafeTPlus device as it applies to a diesel pusher motorhome. If you're not familiar with the SafeTPlus, it's a device that is installed on the steering system of a Class A motorhome that helps you keep control of the coach in the event of a sudden front tire blowout. Now it has a lot of added benefits that that are added to that. But its primary purpose is for that, the sudden front tire blowout. Now, to get everybody to the same point at the end of this video, I need to get everybody to a common starting point. And so long-time subscribers, stick with me for a minute and let me get that done. In 2013, Maria and I bought a 2004 Winnebago Sightseer 35N. It's 35-foot long Class A. Prior to that purchase, we had never driven anything like that before in our lives. The largest thing I had driven to that point was a 2.5-ton truck, gas truck in the military that was governed to 45 miles per hour. So we had no experience driving a Class A motorhome. When we bought it, it was used, of course. We bought it in Tulsa. We took it for a little test drive around the area, the dealership and stuff. And, it was a used vehicle, so it was broke in pretty good. It had that tiny bit of play in the center of steering, but it was nothing to be concerned about, and we bought the coach. Maria was still working at the time, and we used that coach to go on vacations, to visit family, for camping on weekends, long weekends, and that kind of thing. The first trip that we took in it was to go to North Carolina to visit some of my family. And it was on that trip that we discovered some pretty horrific drivability issues that we weren't aware of with a Class A motorhome. These are things like crosswinds. If you've never driven a Class A motorhome before, let me tell you, crosswinds are an issue. Okay, we hit crosswinds on that trip, both going and coming back, that blew us completely off the road onto the shoulder. Diesel blow-by. This is a problem. When you're on a two-lane road and those tractor trailers come by you real fast, they rattle you, okay, and they blow you around on the road, and it can be pretty scary sometimes. In addition to that, if you're on a two-lane road and they're both going in the same direction and you're getting passed on your left-hand side by a tractor trailer, what happens is when they get right about, close to the front of your coach, you start feeling the wind that they're pushing in front of them, and they start pushing you over. You correct, and in some cases you may overcorrect a little bit to get your coach back to the center of the lane, and by the time you do, the back of the trailer is now passing you and you're being sucked into the trailer at the low pressure point at the back of the trailer. So that's an issue as well. Wandering, okay, wandering down the road, I guess the tires following the contour of the road or so. Anyway, by the time we would get to a stopping point for the day, we were wore out trying to keep this coach going straight down the road. We had been through horrific, scary instances of being blown completely onto the shoulder and all that. When we got back from that trip, I started looking for answers. We had an ABS light on the coach when we returned, and I took it to get that fixed, and while it was there, I had the mechanics look at the steering system, and they told me there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so it was drivability issues specific to driving a great big rolling box down the road. That's what it was. And I started looking for answers. I went online, started talking to other Class A owners and anybody that would give me the time and listen to my story. And the eventuality of that was I ended up at the SafeTPlus. I ordered it. I had it installed, and I got to tell you, folks, all of those scary things and all of that wearing ourselves out going down the road and all of that disappeared with the turn of a wrench. And in addition to that, we had the added benefit of the safety aspect, the helping us control the coach if we have that sudden front tire blowout. We don't go rolling down the center median killing ourselves, okay? So I made a video about that. That video's got to be pushing 3 years old now, I think. I think it's one of the most viewed videos on our channel, and I'll link it at the end of this video so you can go see that one. Now fast forward to the Winnebago Rally 2016 in July in Forest City, Iowa. We traded in the Sightseer to buy this 38-foot long Winnebago Forza 36G. Diesel pusher motorhome. Okay, brand new. And when you're at the rally, all of the vendors are there, including the Freightliner guys. And I got to tell you, the Freightliner guys, great bunch of guys. These folks really know their product. They've got all kinds of experience and knowledge, and they are willing to stand there and talk to you and answer all of your questions and concerns about a Freightliner chassis. And that's what they did for me. When I was talking to them, I specifically asked about the drivability issues, and I told them the story about the Sightseer, okay, and all the problems we had, and about installing the SafeTPlus, and all those problems went away. And I asked them, do I need to install a SafeTPlus on the new diesel pusher? I remember that specifically. I'll never forget the little grin, the smile that came across his face when I asked that question. Evidently he had been asked that question before, but what he did was he started telling me about the hundreds, if not thousands of hours that Freightliner puts into research and development when they design one of these chassis. He told me about he talked about the tens of thousands of hours of people driving these things and getting feedback from them and all of that. And at the end of the conversation, the answer was no, you do not need a SafeTPlus on a Freightliner chassis. And that was his answer. Since then, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. When we were buying this, our intention was to leave the rally and go to Estelle, Georgia, to the SafeTPlus office and have a SafeTPlus installed. I said in that first video that I'll link for you at the end of this one, I'll never own a Class A without a SafeTPlus. But because I talked to the Freightliner reps and because they had told me what they told me, I didn't know any better. We decided, okay, well, they say we don't need it, we won't do that. Instead of driving to Georgia, we went the opposite direction and went up to Oregon. Okay, by the time we got to Oregon, I realized that there was some type of miscommunication between me and the Freightliner guys, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. This coach was vastly better to drive than that Sightseer. It was a whole lot easier, okay? But there were some things that the two coaches had in common. And the things that they had in common were drivability issues as they apply to a rolling great big box, okay? Crosswinds, still there. Diesel blow-by, still there. Getting blown over and sucked in as they pass you, still there. The risk of a sudden front tire blowout, still there. Okay? Now, were the Freightliner guys lying to me? No, they weren't. And I don't hold them accountable for telling me a lie or something. I don't, because they weren't. Let me explain. From their paradigm, from their way of thinking, from their vast amount of experience, from their knowledge about the chassis, everything that they know told them that the answer that they should give me is no, you don't need it. Okay, but I'm not them. Now, to drive that point home a little bit more, let's do a quick comparison between me and my buddy Ron from RJ's Adventures here on YouTube. Now, Ron is a retired professional truck driver. He drove tractor trailers his entire professional career. He has thousands and thousands of hours behind a wheel of a tractor trailer. Today he's got a diesel pusher motorhome. Now, I don't know this for sure. I haven't talked to Ron about this. He and I have never discussed it. But my guess is that because of all that vast amount of experience and time behind the wheel that Ron has, if Ron's driving his diesel pusher motorhome down the road and him and Julie are having a conversation and he gets hit by a crosswind, his subconscious and muscle memory takes over and makes the correction, and he never misses a word in the conversation. He just keeps right on going. His conscious mind probably doesn't even recognize what his subconscious mind and muscle memory have done to make that correction. It probably just comes natural to him. It's second nature at this point. If there's anything that can be experienced in the driving of a big vehicle like this down the highway, Ron has probably experienced it not once, but twice, maybe even more times than that. So if you compare me and Ron, and you say, well, do you guys need SafeTPlus? Ron doesn't need it near as much as I do. That's a fact. He's got all that experience. No, he probably doesn't need it. Okay? I think he would probably benefit from the front tire blowout safety aspect of it. But all the other, added benefits that it provides for me, helping us with the crosswinds and driving and all that. At this point, with all of Ron's experience and muscle memory and all that, it might irritate him. Okay? So, yeah, if you're like Ron, maybe it's not that important, other than the front tire blowout safety aspect. But if you're closer to my level of experience, my recommendation is that yes, you absolutely need it. Sure. Why wouldn't you want it? In my opinion, every Class A motorhome, be it gas or diesel, either one, should have a SafeTPlus on it when it comes off the assembly line. It should be standard equipment. Okay? That's how much I believe in this. When we drove this coach, and I figured out that, yeah, I probably need it on this coach as well, when we went up to Oregon, we drove to Georgia, and we had it installed. I was running around there, asking if I could video the installation for my YouTube channel and all that, and they said, okay. I made a video about that also. I'll link that one as well at the end of this video so you can see the office and what it's like there and all. And, one of the sales guys came out, and he figured out that we had a YouTube channel, and he asked me if it would be okay if he gave us a discount code that we could share on our YouTube channel for anybody that might want to buy a SafeTPlus from the office in Estelle, Georgia, the factory. And he gave us that. We put that out in the videos that I'm going to link for you at the end of this. We'll put it out in this video as well. And a lot of people have used it. So if after watching this video you decide that SafeTPlus is a good idea for you and your Class A, and you want to save a little bit of money on it, you're welcome to call the office in Estelle, Georgia, the factory at SafeTPlus. Order yours from there, use our discount code, and save yourself $50. Why not? Right? So, yeah, in my opinion, in our opinion, Maria and I both, a SafeTPlus was definitely a necessity for us. We feel that, we believe in it strongly enough to say that, in our opinion, every Class A motorhome coming off the line, gas or diesel, either one, should have it installed as standard equipment, and it should just be there. That's how strongly we feel about it, especially that safety aspect, that front tire blowout, because we don't want to go rolling down the center median like we've seen in videos and killing ourselves. Okay? We don't want to do that. So, yeah, we believe that a SafeTPlus is a great idea, and we highly recommend it. So that's the end of this video, guys. I'm off my soapbox. If you haven't subscribed, we invite you to subscribe and follow along. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching the video. We'll see you soon.